No worries, man. Well, jump in when you can. Glad to have you here. We're still playing with the timing for these. Obviously, this is only the second one. Figuring out, do we make Kyle wake up at 2 a.m. every time? Do we?
I didn't mind. That's good.
obviously, we'll never get it perfect for everybody, but it was really cool seeing a lot of people watch the replay. So even just knowing like everything we're doing here, and this is again obviously like a team effort. I just want to like super reiterate that this is a team effort. This isn't just like a lecture. This is a team effort I'm facilitating. So everything we do here, whether there's 2 of us or 200 of us, matter because there's going to be other people watching, and they matter for us too, of course. Let's just, if it's, I like that it could be a small intimate group sometimes, but yeah, guys, how are y'all? Good to see. I mean, I've talked to all of you guys, but how y'all, since it's a small group so far, how y'all doing today?
Great.
Yeah, keep it well. Keep it well.
We got 50% of us are in Colorado Springs, Colorado right now. Yeah, Paul.
Keep it up.
We still got to connect. Good to see you guys. Awesome. So we'll see who shows up. I've had a lot of people, obviously, you guys probably said they couldn't make it. They'll catch the replay. So again, we'll play with the timing here. We'll see. We'll probably do like a trade-off. Some during the week, evening, some morning and the weekend, like now, or morning for some of us, afternoon for some of us. And we'll have fun either way. So thank you guys for you guys showing up. Let's dive into it here. So I'm really just excited for today because this is such an important topic in sales. First, let's go. I mean, let's see. I think Travis, you were here last time. Kyle, you were here last time. Paul, you weren't here. So since you're a new person, tell us just here. Actually, we'll go in order. We have a method to the madness. Let me just pull up the slide. It'll prompt you. Let me get this going first. Basically want to hear a little about you, who you are, share for. All right, so here, let's kick it off official. Arete Sales Academy, selling courageously, how to take the fear out of sales. That is the focus for today, guys. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a good one. If you can take the fear out of sales, you can not let the fear dominate the process of selling. It becomes a whole different game. You can get into flow. You can enjoy it. You can have a greater impact and obviously make more money too. So all good things. Welcome. What's your name? What's your vision? What are you hoping to get from this? What drew you into this? Paul, I'll let you go first, man. Just because you're the new guy. So tell us, who are you? What's your vision and mission? I like this question more than just like, what do you do? You know, it's like, oh, well, what do you do? But I like what's your vision? What's your mission? Vision being the way you want to see things, the world. It's like kind of like Brian's 51-50, 51% of the population flourishing by 2050 is the vision. And then the mission obviously is like how we get there, the steps to accomplish that. And then what are you hoping to get from this? What drew you into this? So Paul, take it if you want to take 30 seconds, 45 seconds, please.
Bam. My name is Paul Melcher, and thank you for the opportunity in setting this up. Matt, it is appreciated. My continued vision and purpose, coupled with mission, is to inspire others through profound service, astonishing prosperity, amazing growth. What do I hope to get from this takeaway so that I can use to implement my coaching into higher levels? And what drew me was the connection with regards to seeing that you are an expert in your field and then coming together. Boom. Nice. That was like 34 seconds. Sorry.
I love the brevity, man. I love the brevity. It's one of my favorite quotes is, I think it was, I always forget who it is. I think it was Blaise Pascal said, he was writing a letter to his friend. And he said, I'm sorry for this long letter. If I'd had more time, I would have written a shorter letter. So hard to like say a lot in a few words. So thanks for the brevity, man. And I love your energy. I love your mission. That's so cool. Yeah. And Travis, yeah, I guess like a lot of us are in Colorado. So Mark, welcome to the party, man. Good to see you.
Good to be seen.
You are indeed, man. Mark, Paul, who you know, I believe, just introduced himself. So I will, since you are the other new guy here, I will pass it over to you. And same thing, as you can see here, what's your name? What's your vision and mission? Vision being the way you want to see the world, mission being how you plan to get there, or the way you want to see some part of the world. And What do you hope to get from these sessions, Arete Sales Academy? What drew you into this?
I was promised exoneration at some point here. If I join this group. No,
He's doing it for public. You got to go show this to the judge. Got to sign something.
I have to join this group, let's get something signed. No. Yeah, it's good to be here. Thanks for hosting this. My vision and mission, I guess it's simply to connect with like-minded heroic coaches and see how they're growing their business. It's been a journey that I'm on the last 3 months, 3 years, more intense in the last 3 months. So to make progress in that, to connect, to learn what I don't know. And I've been doing coaching in essence about 2.5, 3 years professionally, but a lot of pro bono, of course, and learning, and recently taking the plunge. Trying to think other things come up. You know what? Just to be the best version of myself. Honestly, that's why I'm running a little late. I was just finishing up a huge load of dishes for the family. So doing those love bids, being the better person, not just focusing on work, but using these moments to grow and help bring that to my client's life. Because I think Paul and I talk about it ad nauseum, and I love my connections with him, but we do need to be the best versions of ourselves. It matters to put the work into this. So I want to bring that outwards and make a living at it and connect with other people like yourself. So that's where I'm at. And yeah, I'm in Madison, Wisconsin. I'm 50 years old. Been with Heroic since class 2. Been ingesting Brian's wisdom since early philosopher notes. I think probably 2012, 2011. So.
Super cool. Awesome. I love it, man. I know we've talked a little bit. I just love getting to know each of you. It's like, as you guys are speaking, and I love these intros just because honestly, I do this just because I love the community. I love getting to know people and have more great connections with great guys right now. I know we have some women in the chat, in the WhatsApp group, that want to join us when time permits, but it's just, I love building this community. Like, I didn't build enough of the heroic community early on. I just used the content, and so now I'm like, especially the Slack group has been a great, and I'm so excited for social. I'm sure we all are, but just being able to like really interact and see what other people are doing, and like build friendships with like-minded folks we're all out there at the end of the day. After it's all said and done, all of our individual missions just to be the best version of ourselves. So thank you, Mark. Thank you for showing up, doing the dishes. Paul, appreciate the intro. Kyle, I know, and Travis, you guys introduced yourself last time. If you want to say a couple quick seconds, hello, please feel free.
Sure, I don't mind going. My name's Kyle West. How's it? My vision and my mission is to help other single dads out there be the best they can be for their little kids, their little ones, and to help transform them to be the best parents they can be, to help impact the kids' lives. That's my vision, that's my goal. What's got me excited about this program is just the ability to, help structure my program, correctly in terms of coaching and being able to actually get on the ball and start that process that I want to start. And I'm excited for it.
Awesome, man. Thank you. And Kyle has a distinction. I'm going to always keep talking about it. Having woken up at 2 a.m. for our first session because it was the timing, and he's in South Africa. So I am so honored that you were willing to join us and do that. That's amazing, man. Thank you. I love your vision, helping other single dads, families thrive. Dads especially. I'm not one yet. I'm a cat dad, but I know when I get there, I'm gonna need it. Yeah. Is it Jaber?
Yes, hello.
Hey, am I saying that right? Jaber?
Yeah, Jabber.
Jaber. Okay. Never know where the emphasis is on the syllable. Jaber, nice to meet you, man. We were just doing some intros here. If you want to answer this in 30 seconds or less, your name, which we know now is Jaber, your vision and mission. What do you hope to get from this? What drew you into this?
Okay. So I just checked my WhatsApp message, and I decided to join in. I have been part of the Heroic Coach Program, number 16. So I'm really interested in developing myself into a coach. And my hope is that I can get some understanding how I can get into a business and integrate that and transition from my full-time role. I'm finding my full-time role not as fulfilling in the IT field. So I think that I have some natural abilities to connect with people and be able to help them through means of coaching and be more impactful that way. So that's where I would like to develop myself more.
So awesome, man. So happy that you decided to jump on. I know. Where did you find this? Which
It's the WhatsApp group Optimize, was it? Optimize Coach.
Optimize Coaches? Okay, cool.
Yes.
Yeah, I just threw it in there. And it's another group. I'll add you. I'll give you the link to join we have a private group as well. So it's slowly building, but
Okay.
Awesome to
Sure.
have you, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Okay, great. Yeah, I think
let's
I missed
dive
the
in.
first session. I saw you guys were offering another one earlier, right? So
Yeah, I'll
somehow
send
I
you.
couldn't follow that. Yeah.
What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to create a document, a shared folder, a Google Drive, where I'll put recordings. I'll upload them to YouTube, so they'll be easily accessible, and any documents or anything that is relevant to everybody, we can have easy access to. So that'll be one of my things this week. I'll make sure we have a mutual place where important things such as replays live. So awesome, team. Shall we? I'm excited. Let's dive in. Boom. Okay. I want to just quickly recap from this. If you take nothing else from this experience, if you were here last week, you saw this, let it be this, which is that every part of sales is a chance, and I would say every part of business, but since we're talking about sales, every part of sales is a chance to practice our heroic way of being, our virtues, courage, hope, everything. So boom, I'll pound through this real quick. I'm just going to pop them up. We went through in more depth last time, but you'll see this in the replay. Remind yourself, sales it doesn't have to be this dirty, just transactional, give me money, I give you this thing, and we never talk to each other again thing. It can be a really connective, service-based way to get to know and help and serve and improve the life of someone else while improving your life, of course, and not just through money. But I think, again, we get to be better in so many ways. If you look at this list, and a lot of it isn't even based on money when we're going through the sales process. So again, reminder that if you take nothing else, it's that sales can be such a great platform to practice our heroic virtues if you approach it like that. That's the frame I come at it from. I highly recommend you do as well. And I also recommend you take notes. I'm a big believer in notes. I got like this many notepads of various purposes sitting right next to me. I've got literally 10 fountain pens on my desk because I just love fountain pens and I love writing by hand. So take notes, guys. Yeah, notes. Let's go. I love it, Paul. All right, guys. So have you ever felt any fear around selling something? I have. Anybody here? Raise your hand. Pop it in the chat. Anybody ever felt fear around having to go sell themselves or something for someone else? Yeah. Pretty common. And the first thing to know is everybody has. I don't care if you're Russell Brunson, the founder of ClickFunnels, if you're Mark Cuban, if you the shark, if you're anybody, you name it. You pick Elon Musk, pick your business heavy hitter. You've probably felt fear around selling something, around promoting something to someone. What are they going to think? What are they going to think about you? What are they going to think about something? So the fear is normal. Let's just the first step, let's just normalize it. As Brian says, it's not a you thing, it's a human thing. This is one of those fundamental things that we worry sometimes about stuff, especially stuff that is important to us. So I personally believe, and why I'm so excited for this, and I made this the second session, I personally believe almost all limitations people experience in the sales process are rooted in fear, are rooted in being afraid somehow. Judgment, a big one, fear of judgment. What are they going to think of me? That's one of the biggest things when we go into sales interactions, like with that in the back of our mind, it's like our ego is like, oh man, I hope I don't look like this, or what if they're thinking that, or man, they're probably like judging me already. The judgment, it's a huge one, maybe the biggest one. Fear of judgment holds us back in sales. It restrains us, constricts us. Fear of incompetence is the next one. What if I don't have the right answer? What if someone asks me something as the quote unquote expert I'm supposed to be, and I don't even know? I just don't have a good answer. I think when you put yourself in that power of authority, you put a lot of expectation on ourselves of, oh, we got to know it all. We got to be this, perfect, bulletproof, complete package of knowledge and wisdom. Fear of loss. I mean, we're talking sales, so we're we're talking a transaction of typically money, where you give some value and they give you some money. What if if I don't close this deal, I'm not going to hit my income target? Now, for some people, that might be more serious. For some people, especially when you're starting a business, it can be like, if I don't close this deal, I'm not going to like pay the bills next week, pay the mortgage, pay the rent, pay the lights. Some people, it's just like, hey, I got this target. I expected myself. I'm trying to grow, whatever it is. So the fear of loss of, oh, what if I don't make this sale? What if it doesn't work? And there's this money I miss out on. And I think a big one for this community is probably fear of losing our integrity and our virtues, not acting in an integrous, virtuous way. Basically saying, can I be a good person and sell at the same time? Wondering if I'm selling something, am I compromising my virtues and my morals and my integrity? So this is a safe space. Part of being leaders is that we get to be vulnerable and honest. So, and again, this is first and foremost, not just a lecture, it's a facilitated conversation and mastermind. So I'm curious for any of you guys, what comes up for this? Can anybody relate to this right now and wants to share something that's coming up, or an example of one of these fears that has impacted or you feel could impact you in the sales or business process?
I was just thinking on the first point, the judgment, how that could be perhaps like indicating, like perhaps it's like your ego kind of like stepping in to say like, well, if they don't like me, maybe it's kind of like your ego speaking to you instead of like kind of like being, natural and authentic, really. I don't know. It's just kind of like rang to me.
Yeah, absolutely, Kyle. I saw your comment, judgment is ego based. 100%. It's that wanting to protect that ego. And we're going to do a little deeper dive on that. So rest assured that's coming back here. This is, but yeah, I completely agree. It's that ego. It's that ego speaking, taking the focus back onto you when we're going out trying to serve others, kind of trying to turn it back on you. But what about me? So yeah, that awareness is the first step. Having that awareness that that's it. It's always the first step. Anyone else?
Yeah, I would say for the second one, incompetence, coming in, and you discussed it a little bit before, but am I prepared enough? Am I going to show up and then deliver what I said? And that continual knocking, and the mean between being hyper ready and then using the intuition and also flow with fluidity. So that's one of the things I've seen in my walk.
Yeah, that's an awesome one, Paul. I'm glad you brought that up. So you've kind of experienced that. What do you do when you feel that? What's your response to that?
I look at it, I see that, yeah, it is there. And then when I show up to get the reps in, I put in a plan. So in here, in this, I will do a before, a checklist. I like those to help me come in, and I will do my homework before the engagement, and then I'll let it rip. And then as I go through there, I'll take notes, I'll relax and allow that, allow that, and Theos to work, and afterwards, and I'll do the AAR, the before, during, and after sequence and rhythm.
Beautiful. And it's true what you said, like the incompetence, a lot of these things have, like anything, the answer is starving the fear with action is really the simple answer. If you get up and you don't know what you're going to do and you're not prepared, well, then yeah, you kind of deserve to be a little afraid of looking incompetent or being incompetent, because maybe you are actually incompetent in that moment. But if you do the homework, do the reps, it's like, I love to think I'm a big sports enthusiast and come from a tennis coaching background. Whether it's tennis or any game, the match is won before it begins. Meaning it's the practice that came in. When you step on that court or that field or that pitch, like it's just a manifestation of all the practice and the reps and the weeks and years that came before. And if you show up unprepared, well, yeah, you got a lot to be afraid of. So I think you made a great point, Paul, there. Checklist, coming in prepared, doing the reps, the pre, the post. Yeah. Kyle, yes, sir.
I just wanted to mention, like, I think for me, like, especially in a coaching context, if someone asks you a question and you don't know, like perhaps, you just have to go back to the honesty. Well, like, I really actually don't know at this point, but, I'm going to do my best to, find out for you. I'll reach out to other people. I'm going to be honest. I don't know, but it's rather be honest instead of, faking it and then just looking like, a liar later. Rather just be honest and saying, hey, but it's a good question. Like, I'm going to think about it. I'll get back to you later. And that's just kind of what came up with me.
Dude, I love it. I love it. It's like what we talked about last time. Like you in sales, especially, you get so much more credit from people that when you just show them what you're thinking, show your work, like just tell them, hey, honestly, here's, maybe this is awkward for you, this is awkward for me, or hey, I don't even know that exact answer, but I will find out. Like you get so much more credit and you're viewed so much more positively as an expert when you're just honest, versus trying to cover it up and dance around and look like you know more than you do. So I love that, man. It's so true. Like, and it's so easy because it's like, it's just reverting back to the truth. Like, it's not having to like come up with this big elaborate story. It's just reverting back to the truth. Yeah. Jobber, sorry, man. If you had your hand up first, I didn't see it there, but you may have, but go ahead, man. What you got?
All right, let me unmute myself here. Okay. Yes. The couple of things that like pop out to me are procrastination. Like, that I think is kind of tied to this aspect of fear. Like, getting, let's say, talking about myself, like taking some actions, like, if it's a matter of like reaching out to people, finding out what their problems are and that kind of thing. Like I'm finding myself like, in a difficult position, like even trying to take some actions in that sense, right? So I really like what you mentioned that taking actions is what will starve that type of fear. But like it becomes a very visceral thing. Like it just feels like my whole body, like like it's ready to freeze and not take action, right? So so it's a mix of all kinds of things like this, right? Judgment, incompetence, all of these things playing a role here. So and it blocks your ways of thinking, right? Being able to have that creative and expansive ways of thinking about different things, it narrows things down quite a bit in an unhelpful manner.
So true. So true. As a chronic procrastinator, much less so now than I've been in the past, I know exactly what you're talking about. And again, it's a human thing. It's easy. Our brain and our mind knows how to seduce us into not doing the thing we want better than any other person on earth, right? It knows exactly what to say. It knows what you want, what you're afraid of. It is the best negotiator that there is for each of us. So, knowing that, and then I think for me, going back to, and there's a very clear tool heroically, because it's a heroic community, because I can speak that language, which I love, so cool. But reverse indicator, Brian talks about the reverse indicators. And when you're feeling like Abraham Maslow talks, he would get sick and like literally physically sick, but it meant he was on the verge of a breakthrough. Talked about like Henry Fonda, the actor, would throw up before every performance, but it was a sign, he cared and he was about to go out and give a great performance. And just the simple, the less like doing it you feel, the more committed you are to your protocol, and that's something I think having a mantra, and if there's one I've had for me that's been helpful, it's been that. It's like the less I want to do it, the less like it I feel doing it, I feel, the more committed I am to that protocol. And it doesn't mean I always do it. Sometimes I still talk myself out of it, but much more often I'm able to like stop in that moment, step in between stimulus and response, and boom, take the right action. And the more I do it, the more I build that confidence and that trust in myself, and it gets easier next time. So that's what I would say if I was putting on my heroic specific coaching hat, Jobber, to exactly what you're saying. And like you said yourself, it's, what to do, it's starving the fear with action. It's just doing it. So take action. Travis, yeah, man.
Yeah, so the one thing for me is that I've gotten much better about is I always have thought, I'm like, this stuff that I know, like this is common sense, or this is just common knowledge. Like everybody knows this. And what I've realized, I still have that in my head, but what I've realized is a lot of people know a lot of things, but a lot of people don't do a lot of things until you give them the coaching or the direction, I guess it were. So that's one thing that I have to remind myself of, and that's where I get into a little bit of a why would they buy this from me if they already know it? And a lot of times it's the accountability and support and everything else like that, I think. But again, it's reminding myself of that at the same time, and being like, um, if you're not taking action, like you're saying, then you don't know what's going to be the outcome.
Dude, so freaking true. Thank you for saying that. It's so true. How many of us, what came up for me when you said that, the difference between knowing and doing, and so much of coaching isn't just teaching them things, but it's accountability. It's helping them be accountable and holding them accountable to doing what they say they want to do. I like, the thing that comes up to me is, look, we all know vegetables are good. Fried chicken is less good. Cigarettes are way less good. But at least in the US, I know it's not just the US, how many tens of millions of people are obese and overweight and have terrible conditions that could be solved just with eating better? It's not like, okay, yeah, some people got a better grasp on nutrition science than others, but fundamentally, we all know these things are better. Let's eat more of them. These things are not as good, less ice cream, but still, many people don't do it. And you literally, there's a lot people that will pay lots of money to go into a gym or to go to a nutritionist just to be often told to do the things they know they should do and have someone hold them accountable. So it's so true, man. Like, it's a huge point you hit on. It's not just about teaching them things. It's about helping them do the things that they know they should be doing, and they're pissed off they're not, but they want to.
The other thing on that too that's interesting is I've actually had some people buy some different courses, some people that I know, and they literally say, I just bought it because of you. So, and that goes back to people buy who you are, not what you do, kind of thing, most of the time. Because they're like, I know most of this stuff already, but I like you and I like being around you and hanging out and doing whatever. So, that's a good reminder for myself also, is, be you. Because everybody else is taken, right? Like the saying goes.
Yeah, I love it, dude. I love, like, each of us, like, in these sessions are going to come up with our own truths, our own realizations. Like, the same slide, the same sentence is going to hit everybody differently. And, again, there's not the way, there's your way. Find your way, the Nietzsche quote. So I love seeing you, Travis, like, and each of us kind of discover our own way through this. And yeah, man, I mean, I will say again, so I did a little intro on myself first session, but, having run an agency with my wife for a couple of years where we specifically helped coaches and consultants market themselves online and sell themselves. For a coach, you're a small business owner, you're the brand, your face is the brand, and it's building a relationship. And, of course, we don't want sales to be just making people like you, because people aren't going to buy from you just because they like you. But if they trust you, like you, and they, want to spend time with you, then sure, people are going to gravitate towards you. So it's 100% for each of us as small business owners. We are our brand, and we got to control what people, I don't want to say control, but like, people will resonate with us, the human being we are. We're part of our brand. So you can't, like, separate yourself from your brand too much when you're a solopreneur, and know that that's an asset too, because you get to, create that brand and represent yourself as you want. And some people are going to say, no, thanks, not for me. Some people are going to say, that's awesome. So guys, I love this. I love, I don't know if you have anything else, Travis, your hand's still up, but jump in if you do. Otherwise, we'll move on. Guys, my goal is to get in and out in an hour. If we run a little long, not the end of the world, but just so you know, I'm always trying to clock these right about an hour, because I know we got lives. You didn't just wake up today to do this. So, but this is so cool. Let's move on here. So, putting your own oxygen mask on first, self-compassion. How do we combat the fear and some of these issues here that we see that, again, I really believe are the root of almost all problems, not all problems, a lot of problems in sales. So putting your own oxygen mask on first, just like the plane metaphor. If you're in trouble, plane's going down, before you help anyone around you, your kids, you got to stabilize yourself, make sure you're good, and then you can be a resource to others. So if we're thinking of sales as serving others, helping others, we got to be okay. We can't be a wreck if we want to help others. So we owe it to them and ourselves to stabilize ourselves. So I love Kristen Neff. I love self-compassion. It's, again, one of the things I'll always go back to, that it's a salve and a cure-all for almost everything. And the 3 keys here, as you can find these, there's again, this is from Kristen Neff. and there's a +1 on it. The 3 keys to self-compassion: self-kindness, just treating yourself with kindness, your self-dialogue, talking to yourself like a friend, not a bully. Common humanity, kind of like we talked about. The fear, it's not a you thing, it's a human thing. You're having a human experience. Just like everybody who's ever sold anything at one point has been a little afraid to some extent. And then the mindfulness, just being able to step back. And this is kind of where it's like, okay, whatever's going on, that's fine. I can feel the fear. I can feel jitters. I can, feel or think whatever thoughts and feelings I'm experiencing. Okay, that's fine. That's real. But I don't have to react to it. I can just acknowledge it, zoom out, have the bigger perspective, and then move forward from there. So these are they're powerful, guys. And I recommend you can use these in every part of life, but it's a great thing to bring up. Again, Kristen Neff has got many books. She's the self-compassion godmother, her and Sharon Salzberg and a couple other people. But the self-kindness starting just like, hey, talk to yourself nice. When you notice you're feeling a little fear, say some nice supportive things to yourself. Remember, everybody feels this. It's me and everybody. I'm in it together. And then just zoom out and take the bigger perspective. It doesn't mean you have to try to change it even right away or try to make the fear go away, but just like, hey, what else is going on? What's the bigger perspective? What's my goal here? Reorient yourself to the vision and mission. Because our brain is finite. And if we're filling it with things about, oh, my goal, my mission, my vision, there's much less space for those fear thoughts to come in. So I want to bring this up because this is just such a good starting place for everything, especially when you're getting into selling. And you don't have to, I wouldn't say don't just do this if you're feeling afraid. Even do this anytime you're coming into a presentation, a sales interaction, any interaction where maybe it's high stakes or maybe you have a little, nerves or resistance or anything. So any thoughts, anything coming up for anyone here on this?
Mark's
I'd like
hand.
to say,
Mark,
hey
it's
there,
you.
everybody. I love, number one, I love Kristen Neff, and I appreciate you bringing this up. I've gone back and rehashed and relooked at this and rewrote it down so many times. This is such beautiful advice, especially when we're doing things like selling. I think the self-compassion is paramount as we head into like taking those action steps. The one thing that I kind of identify within here is we can break this down to one thing. It's just mindfulness. When we're more mindful in the moment, we take that time to flip the switch and breathe and do those little things like connect with our eudaimon for a minute, put those reminders on us, especially when we're coaching. The we is me here. So other people might have other habits, but bringing mindfulness in is the first and only step we really need. So instead of having more lists to do, I just think of a mindfulness practice as essential to being a coach in my estimation and with my clients. I even had a heroic, one of my buddies in her heroic, he's like, do you check in with your eudaimon every day? And I was like, yeah. So I find it funny, even within the heroic community, I think we have difficulty doing that. And I totally have had difficulty doing that in my life, but it's been one of the more profound things to do with clients. And it feels kind of like a woo-woo thing, but I've even had like executives tell me like, oh, that's the best part of our connection. It just centers me and balances me and brings me back to that connection with my eudaimon or my mindfulness, if you will.
What does that look like? If you could give us like a 30-second example in practice when you do that with a client.
I think with a client, and I've practiced this with my other heroic groups that I meet with, but it would be like doing a visualization. I'm a big Maxwell Maltz fan from Psychocybernetics. So using that creative visualization, that mechanism, I've found this ever present in my studying my Tibetan Buddhism. Visualization is a powerful thing for our brains. Our brains do not know the difference between us visualizing something and us actually doing it. So why not train our subconscious or our, whatever you want to identify it as, our lower state of mind with a positive visualization. So it would be that. Maybe inviting the eudaimon on a walk with them, maybe pretend like you and your eudaimon are flying over a city 100 years from now or something. Or I've even stolen things from my heroic friends. They say, envision your eudaimon at 110 or 90. What would they look like? What would they say to you? and then use that meditative mindfulness state to kind of evoke that. But maybe more specific to mindfulness is just being aware of the present moment. I mean, there's so much good information on that out there. So
Well said. Thank you, Mark. Well said, man.
Yes, sir.
Love that. Kyle, what you got?
Wow, I first just want to thank Mark. Thank you, Mark. That was awesome. I just wanted to comment about what you said about, you know, putting on our own mask first. And I always think about what Brian says there. He says, you know, you have to be like a radiant exemplar. You know, you have to be the example that people look to you towards. So if you're going to be coaching others, it's like you said, you know, you have to be the example that they can look towards. And also really like what you said about, you know, looking at fear like it's just kind of like an object. And it's kind of like the stoic mindset as well. It's just kind of like separating from it and just like realizing that it's just an emotion, and you know, we can step back from it. And it was a really good reminder.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's radiant exemplar is a great other way to say that. It's the thing that came up to me, you know, even when you're a radiant exemplar, you're gonna have people that don't always see it or acknowledge it. And that's part of being why I think self-compassion is so important. If you know who you are and why you're there and what your mission is, especially in sales, there will be times where someone, when you're coaching, even not just sales, but coaching, I think we're all coaches, where someone's going to push back and be like, not like what you're saying, and maybe say some unkind things to you. I was looking at the reviews for the Heroic app a little while ago, and I remember there were some, like, mostly really good, but there's some that were super critical. They were talking about Brian, like, ew, this guy creeps me out. He's got like a used car salesman vibe. And it's like, you know, if you know Brian, like, it's not all who he is or what he's about. But even Brian Johnson, there's people that don't like the dude, you know, and they of course they look at him, they judge him, and that's probably a reflection more of them than him. But you know, I'm pretty sure he doesn't, you know, get caught up on that too much. But you're never gonna get to a point where everyone's gonna like you and love you and be into everything you're about. So just give it up. That's like my perspective. So, and that makes it a lot less scary and a lot easier. And helps you find the people, your tribe, that really do resonate with what you're saying. Jabber, yes, sir.
Hello. Yes. Interesting that you mentioned self-compassion over here. In fact, like full transparency, like I had a psychotherapy session. I've been having some recent struggles, and that is what got me more into learning about Heroic and going through this self-improvement phase. So the thing that the doctor mentioned was self-compassion. For me, the way that I explained all the things to her, she said that this is what pops up for her, that I do not have as much self-compassion for myself, right? So a lot of perfectionist attitude and high sensitivity nature in terms of personality. So all in all, like, you know, I am spending a lot of time, like, you know, engaging with people around, but at the same time, it's always go, 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 like, you know, not able to shut myself down, not able to relax. So I would be actually curious about what people are doing for, especially the self-kindness aspect of it. People are willing to even add some things to the chat in terms of their protocol, what has been working for them. I would be curious. The key takeaway for me that she told me to do was every day, 5 minutes of like breathing. Right, and you could do like just a couple of techniques. I was aware of them already, but like so yesterday I did that on my Heroic app. I put targets of breathing, and I would swipe it twice. So yesterday I did it twice, and then today I plan to do it again. So I still have that kind of pending. But so this was one thing that she mentioned, that with those breathing techniques, you would be able to rewire your brain to a degree, right? So and she said that start with 5 minutes. And looking at Brian Johnson's session today about the basic training, he was also talking about starting small, making it very simple. And the topic was about habits. So the using of willpower to, you know, have algorithms. So that is what I'll be focusing on to quite a degree to figure out. But I'd be all ears to what people have to share.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the vulnerability, man. Like, that's truly courageous to, you know, be able to share what's going on with you. And dude, I just want to say, like, you are amazing. Like, I'm just getting to meet you, but the fact you're here the fact you're taking time, the fact you're investing in yourself with psychotherapy, which I will also raise my hand. I've gone to therapy. I've had a couple therapists, me and my wife, we've had our struggles. Thank God we're doing actually pretty well right now. Always work to be done, but not that long ago, we had some, pretty big bumps in the road. So thank you for sharing. There's some people drop some things here in the chat. Mark, meditation, he said, kind of like you said, Jabber, just even breathing. Meditation could be almost anything. There's so many forms. Mark's a great person if you want to talk with. I know he's got a deep background in Tibetan Buddhism and Dzogchen, which is something I need to talk to Mark more about because I'm trying to get more connected to that. I put in Waking Up app. Have you heard of the Waking Up app as far as meditation
No,
goes?
not quite. No.
Sam Harris. A lot of people know him as the angry atheist. He's much more as involved as being the meditation guy, ironically. He's got a great app, and he brings together different teachers. It's not just his voice. Some of the greats, Adyashanti, you name it, great teachers in meditation. My mind is blowing up because there's so many good ones there. You can try it for a month, and then it's a paid app. You can literally pick your price. Like, he's great. Like, he just wants to help people. So I highly recommend checking that out. It's a 28-day intro course, about 8 to 10 minutes a day. That's a great starting place. That's one of the first things I did when I got reacclimated into my daily meditation routine, is going through that 28-day course. And then there's daily meditations, just a bunch of good stuff. So Waking Up, that's one thing I personally recommend if you're into the breathing and the meditation. Kyle said, see yourself as valuable. You have value for the impact you can bring to others. Don't forget that. Kick that bully out of your head. Yeah, man. You are valuable, man. Like, the fact you exist, you're a human being. Like, you're here. You got value. And if anybody inside there and outside there says differently, tell them to kick rocks. So, and Mark says Yoga Nidra is great too. Yeah, retune those neural connections. Yeah, Yoga Nidra is a very relaxing type of meditation. Great way to get into sleep or just kind of get into a pre-sleep state. Paul, reminding myself that I have to practice treating myself like a 5-year-old so I can treat others that way. Identification, implementation, 5x daily. Yeah, I love that, Paul. Speaking to that inner child, because we all have that inside, guys, thank you I just love the love that poured out. That's so cool. So cool. Jabber, how you feel, man?
No, I feel good. I've dabbled into so many things like yoga nidra and a few other things I've tried, but in some cases I lose interest. Maybe it is not part of my regular routine. It's part of the habit making process, right? Somehow I'd make it simple and come back to it. So yoga nidra, I've tried a few different styles. The more recent one, Andrew Huberman's version on YouTube. I've tried that as well. Again, once in a while, I feel like I really benefit from it. But then again, 2-3 days later, I don't know if it's losing interest or it's just not having that level of effectiveness and having that standard that, okay, I'm not getting that feel out of it, and maybe still sticking to it and pulling through another week. And then, so that is one interesting thing I have to review for myself, what works and what doesn't, and allow more space and time for some of those, right? To have more of a rock solid protocol.
Yeah, absolutely. Anybody have any feedback? I just want to, again, this is a community, so if anybody has any quick words of feedback for Jabber, just because I so appreciate you opening up and being vulnerable, man. So
I was just thinking about kind of like the atomic habits mindset, in terms of just kind of if you need to install a new habit, just trying to do it in small bits at a time. So perhaps just go back to the beginning and try and just do it from really, really small steps, just to try and build it up. And perhaps it'll get better over time. And another thing is maybe just really define what your expectations are from the beginning, and just keeping that in mind, whenever you're practicing whatever it is, your meditation or push-ups, whatever, just keep that in mind, and just build it up incrementally, atomic habit style.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, make it so small you can't fail. Because Jabber, I think you said you're a perfectionist.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm sure if you're setting a big goal for yourself, it makes it easier for you to miss it and then get frustrated. So in Tiny Habits, talks about, BJ Fogg talks about when he wanted to get more fit. So he started doing one push-up every time he went pee. And that was it. His goal was every time I go to the bathroom, I'm going to do one push-up. And this is like arguably the godfather of habit building, Stanford habit professor. So I say, yeah, make it small. On that note, one thing I love to do personally is I call it microdosing mindfulness. And there's been research that it's actually as effective as a long sitting, 20 minute meditation. But getting in the habit, literally one of my habits on the Heroic app is microdose meditation or microdose mindfulness. And it's literally just taking 30, usually it's like 30 seconds, maybe a minute on the high end, and just stop whatever I'm doing, take a breath, and just be aware and be in the moment and just be there and just feel into that moment, feel into my body, just be present, not try to change a damn thing. And usually I'll try to, if I'm feeling it, I'll try to attach that to a little bit of appreciation or gratitude to finish it up. And then I move on. And it takes like literally 30 seconds, but it feels good. And it's a quick thing. And I'll do that throughout the day a few times. And like that, boom, that makes a difference. I do that. I make sure I swipe that a couple times a day. So that might be something to try.
All right. Not intending to drag it too long, but with all that attention to myself. But one thing that popped in my mind is I don't quite celebrate my stuffs as much, right? Even my target swiping, I would do a whole bunch of those at the end of the day. So I'm not allowing myself to enjoy that dopamine rush. I've just done it, and let me just target swipe it, right? So I don't tend to do that. So that's one thing that's coming to my attention, that I need to be more in terms of at a minimum do the target swipe, right, as a means of small form of celebration. But if you do have a comment about celebrating, how do you even do that? Let's say your microdosage, right, of mindfulness. How do you so you have a good experience out of it, but is there anything that you do to just get yourself that extra boost, that okay, one target done?
For me personally, I think I love the feeling of growth. I think we're all growth, teleological. We like to progress and have a goal. And I celebrate the fact that each little time I swipe a habit, or whether it's the microdosing or another one, I'm stacking another brick of growth onto who I am, and I'm getting closer to my eudaimon, to my highest self. And to me, that's super cool. I just reconnect, hey, my goal is to be the best version of me. Boom. I just stacked another brick on that pyramid. So, and it's as simple as that for me. I don't know if anybody else wants to add, and then we can move on, but really appreciate everybody. I know our coaches here coming out, giving the love, giving the support.
I had something quick to say. I think celebrating is self-compassion. And if we're not taking literally, if we're stepping up from our meditation cushion and finding what's unique to us, smacking our chest, connecting with the ikigai, why the H are we sitting down? And if we're not doing that, then it does become a mundane activity.
Yeah.
I know I get that from my dedications or a purpose statement or why. Why am I sitting down this morning? Because that's it. That's the 5th day or the 10th day or the 14th day or the 50th day. Why the H am I sitting down? Oh, is it to be like everybody else, or is it to actually change my mind? And in Dharma, we call it having the right view. Have the right blanket view on what you're doing. Otherwise, go do something else. Use the journaling, use yoga, use exercise, and don't put more crap on your to-do list. At least that's my experience with my clients and my own self. Connecting with my ikigai is profound, and remembering that with even a minute. And I love the microdosing meditation. That's amazing. That I hope you have something out there for that, because that's really powerful. And I've heard about teachers talk about that in books and classes I've taken. Simply stopping for a minute and meditating, doing that for a few times a day is meditation. It is not meditation. That's a bad view too. So you are meditating when you do that.
Totally. Last thing I'll say, Jabber, and then we'll move on. Steve Chandler says, tools, not rules. As in everything we're talking about here, every single topic we're talking about, it's a tool to help you. It's not a rule that you must live by in a certain way. And it's as good as it is at helping you. If it's not helping you and you try it for a while, maybe it's not the tool for you. Moving on. So I give yourself that freedom to experiment and try different tools
Mhm.
and be okay if you don't find the right tool the first or the second or the 10th time. Cool, man. Hopefully that was helpful. That was a lot of fun.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't want to derail you, but just real quick, I wanted to throw something in there on the waking up, the waking up app. I love that. I totally second that. That thing's awesome. On that 28 or 30-day intro to that. And then something I do going just on the why part and meditation, I've noticed with myself a lot of times if I'm really frustrated or something really crazy is going on and I just feel like I can't stop and disconnect for a minute or even take that 30 seconds or something like that, I will write down, I want to do I can't remember what book I got it from, but ask yourself why 7 times. And it ends up being more than 7 times usually, but doing that and actively engaging, why am I feeling it? Why am I doing this? Why am I not doing this? Why is this happening? And then why was that? And then why is that? And why is that? Breaking it down from there. After I get done with that, it's almost like a meditation because I feel 1,000 times better and I have an answer to what I'm working on and what's happening in that moment. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick.
Yeah. That's thank you, man. That gets back, kind of relates to what Mark was saying about like why am I sitting, like what, not just doing something to do it or because it's part of the routine, but like really reconnecting with the purpose and going a level deeper and deeper and deeper. Yeah, so many good things here, guys. I'm learning. I'm being reminded of great tools. I need to actually take physical notes more. Awesome, guys. We might, let's see, 10:54. I'm thinking, out of respect to time, because I hate it when people set a time and just blow past it ridiculously. This has been so worthwhile. I'm thinking, let's see. So the next thing I want to talk about, we'll end with this. And then there's probably about a third more, half to third more to go. We'll probably break it up into 2 sessions, do it again, and continue next time. Just in the interest of not rushing. I love that we're taking time and really digging into it and having a conversation. Is that cool with everyone? Cool. And I know you got lives to live outside of this, I'm guessing. So the last thing I want to end on here, guys, is making space for flow. And this is big. It kind of gets back to some of the things we said earlier, but flow is one of the things I've read Stephen Kotler's book, The Art of the Impossible. Really good, really good. Stephen Kotler he was on with Brian. I watched listened to his most recent episode in the gym. Really good. I just love Stephen Kotler. I love his thing. He's one of the godfathers of flow. Him and Csikszentmihalyi. But one of the things I find with clients and with my team, sales team, is there's like a trade-off. The more you're in flow, the less you're in fear. And if you think about any great person, like if they're in the zone, they're clearly not thinking about like, oh God, what if I screw up? They're just in the zone, right? That's what flow is, the zone. So the more you create a flow state, the less fear you're going to experience. Now I'll just say, this is kind of part of the next section we'll say, but sometimes the fear is there and that's okay. And that's normal. And that's what we said at the beginning. So it's not necessarily always about like, oh, we got to eradicate the fear. I don't want that to be the message here, but if we can take the focus away from the fear and put it on the action and the person you're serving in sales and the experience, it's going to be much more powerful. So qualities of a flow state there's 8 qualities, arguably, but these are the 8 qualities that Csikszentmihalyi identified. Clarity of goals and immediate feedback. So these are things you'll experience when you're in flow state. A high level of concentration on a limited field. Again, we're narrowing the field. We're very focused on one specific thing. We might have like an awareness of everything going on around us in a sense. It's kind of like this global awareness of the environment, but also like intense focus simultaneously. Balancing between skills and challenge. So again, this is where it's good to have, like Stephen Kotler identifies, 4% out of your comfort zone is the goal. So if you're 25 or 50% out, then maybe that's, if you're feeling fear, maybe the message is, I need to pull back. Maybe I actually need to like not push myself so far out of my comfort zone. I don't know. Maybe not. You got to figure it out for yourself. But finding that balance of skill and challenge. So you're a little beyond your skills in with the challenge you're with. And sales is great for that because you're constantly kind of like learning new things, practicing new things. feeling in control, effortlessness, and altered perception of time. The one I really want to focus on here, these are all amazing and powerful and incredible. We've all, I'm sure, felt them in our own ways. I'm kind of feeling some of them right now, to be honest. Like I get into flow doing this stuff, guys. This is like what I get jazzed up. I love this stuff. But the melting together of action and consciousness. And what this essentially is like the diminishing of the ego. And this is why, as I said back here, to the extent you're in flow, you're not going to experience fear, because fear comes from an ego identification. Can't really feel fear if we're completely not attached to the ego. It's some attachment to our ego. So when we meld together the action and consciousness, aka let the ego go, we're not thinking about ourselves. We're thinking about the thing we're doing. We don't really have a sense of self in our mind at that moment. The fear is going to evaporate. So it's one more reason why you want to get into a state of flow and create those conditions. The autotelic quality of flow experience basically gets to the sense of the IROI, immediate return on investment, gets to the fact that flow itself is a reward. So we might get into flow while coaching. You might get into flow while doing sales. You might get into flow while playing your sport. And because you're trying to reach a certain outcome in that thing, but actually the flow itself is also a reward. So the state of flow itself is its own reward on top of whatever your end objective is that you're driving at and using flow for. So 17 flow triggers, these are Kotler identified, these Stephen Kotler. So I give him full credit for this, but these are the things that are going to, again, they're triggers. When you can implement these to the extent you do and stack these, you're more likely to get into flow. So we have the psychological triggers in blue: intensely focused attention, clear goals, immediate feedback. So again, being focused on one thing, which is usually not your feelings and your fear, clear goals, which we kind of talked on just a second ago. It's cool, like seeing different people say the same thing in different ways. That's what I love. Like seeing, it's like the ancient wisdom and modern science saying this different thing, the same thing in different ways. So just like Mark said, just like, I think Travis, who was it? Yeah, Travis said, having clear goals, remembering why you're there. What's the point? What's the point of this? Immediate feedback, that's a big one. Having immediate feedback, being able, and the nice thing about a sales conversation is you do get pretty quick feedback. Like you can see, is it working? Is it not? Are you connecting it? Are you not? You can literally ask people like, is that true or not true? Or I'm getting the sense that like this or that. Is that true? You can literally ask them, like, get for feedback. It's like a coaching session. Think of it as a coaching session. So you're constantly in this communicative feedback loop. Challenge skill ratio we talked about, high consequences. So you'll notice, guys, not all of these flow triggers are like, ooh, that sounds fun. Like high consequences. There's got to be something on the line, There's got to be something on the line for you to get into flow. Well, I don't want to say, not to say you have to have all of these. So I don't want to say there's got to be. I want to watch my words and be precise. But if there is something on the line and you have these other factors as well, or some of them, the high consequences can actually create more flow. So this is again kind of the reframing of, am I nervous or am I excited? Oh, there's a lot on the line. Oh no. Or, oh, there's a lot on the line. There's a lot to be gained here. Nice. Like knowing that, this is going to put me in the zone. This is going to keep me focused. The fact that there's a lot on the line. So it's how you interpret it. Rich environment. These are environmental qualities. Deep embodiment. Let me move my little thing here. Serious concentration, deep embodiment, just like really being connected with the environment, being connected with your body. Serious concentration, again, being concentrated, sharing clear goals. So again, in coaching, just like sales, you can relate sales back to coaching a lot since we're all coaches. You're creating common goals together. You're not just telling the person, hey, go do this thing or buy this thing, but you're creating, all right, what are your goals? What are your needs? What does a good outcome look like for you? Great. Let's build that. Let's sit on the same side of the table, build that together and build that vision, and then create a bridge to get there. That's essentially what sales is. Good communication, a no-brainer in coaching and in sales. Familiarity, equal participation, risk, sense of control, close listening, always saying yes, and creativity. So again, these are the 17 flow triggers. This isn't going to like a flow masterclass, but I just want to bring these up because to the extent we get into flow, the fear will diminish largely because our focus is outward. in sales, it's going to be on the other person, how we can help them, just like in a coaching session. And we combine that with mastery and practicing and really being confident in our skills, like we talked about earlier, diminishing that sense or that worry about incompetence because we prepared, we did our homework, and we keep showing up even when we're not perfect, and we keep getting better and we keep learning. And you combine all these things, and then boom, you create a state of flow. The fear isn't there. You're changing lives. You're doing all the good stuff. You're making money. Boom. All of a sudden, sales is a lot of fun and not a scary thing. And when it is a scary thing, hey, you got the tools to deal with that. That's part of being human. So guys, it's 11:02. I want to wind it down here. Final question I'm going to ask for everyone. I'll take it off of sharing here so we can see everybody, is takeaways. So how are you personally, same thing I asked last session, I'll ask every session at the end. How are you personally going to take something here and go from theory to practice, ultimately so that one day, Deo Valente, we can create mastery. So what does that look like for each of you fine human beings? I'd love to hear.
I'll go first, I guess. For me, it's just follow through with my business goals this week, my coaching bids, my client connections, and follow through on my content creation on being a coach. And then, of course, I love how you connected self-compassion with the flow state. I think it's just kind of calling to me. I've been saying to myself to be more playful this week. And so I think that probably within that, some of those flow things, there is a sense of play and time passing, which is, I do believe I'm going after that flow state more in my coaching business, kind of enjoying that momentum too, right? That comes with jumping in that flow state more often, and having that sense of flourishing, I guess. It's really lean into those virtues. So yeah, I appreciate this, Matt. I appreciate seeing everybody. It's wonderful to connect. Thank you.
Dude, Mark, it's been great having you, man. And again, this is, I said it last time, but just not everybody was here. Jobber, you're here the first time. I'll get you in the WhatsApp group. It's fun, it's growing, but I really want to create this and turn this into a true vibrant community, parallel with Heroic, because we're all on a similar, albeit different journey in our own way, and doing it together, especially since we're all coaches and having like a tighter, it's cool having we'll have social coming on soon in the app, but I think it's having a tighter bond and smaller community. Like, I don't necessarily need this to become even 50 or 100 people, but if we have like 20, 30 dedicated people that are in this group, get to know each other, get to support and love and give and take from one another, that'll be a huge win for me. Because again, this isn't, I'm not trying to monetize this. I do want to take this in a different place and monetize it, but this group is just for fun and for me to, practice and bond and make friends. And I want to get to know all you more. So get off my soapbox, but yeah, Mark, great having you, man. Thank you for that. Anybody else, guys? I'd love to know each of you, for Travis, Kyle, Jobber, what you're going to do to take this forward.
From my side, my next plan of attack is just trying to really get my wins out there, what's important now, just keep the focus on that, and just be disciplined in getting those things done. And yeah, that's just going to be that, working as hard as I can to get those things out there.
Keeping it simple. I love it. Keeping it simple. Beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say this is a really good reminder just to use the tools that we've got, and the self-compassion is huge for me because I'll get really hard on myself, and I'm like, would I be this hard on it? Well, I guess good examples. Nobody's ever perfect. We're not going to be perfect, and like Brian says, and but striving for that and knowing we're not going to reach it, it's always inspiring.
Yeah. 100%. Jobber?
Yeah, I love the reminders that you had, like flow and about self-compassion. So particularly self-compassion. So that is interesting that it has come up again over here. I don't know if on the Heroic there's a one-on-one on it, but if there is, I'll definitely check it out over the weekend. And I love the microdosing mindfulness as well. That's like being in a constant state of presence in some ways, like you can just flip the switch and that kind of thing. It's almost like kind of connected in terms of the theme. So again, I'm not practicing that as effectively as I could, so I'll just have to remind myself. And build it into my daily target practices.
Yeah, it's a huge one for me, I can say personally. So definitely. And I'll go too, guys. Like I'll just say I do part of what I love about prepping for this and doing these is like I learn, even when it's kind of like Travis, you mentioned it, a lot of people know a lot of things, but there's the gap between the knowledge and the action and the implementation. It reminds me of the things, sometimes I learn a new thing and it reminds me of the things, hey, I know this, but how well am I really doing this? So it's accountability for me. Like if I'm going to get up here and talk about it, it's like, man, I better be doing some of this, so I really appreciate, for me, it's just a reminder of, hey, these are the tools that I'm committed to. Let's make sure I'm using all of them in my sales interaction, in my team. So I can promise you, I'm going to go forward this week and be mindful of any time because I still feel it sometimes, like little bits of fear, resistance, and pull out the tools of self-compassion and drop into, everything we talked about in this session. So, guys, it's been amazing. I'll put the recording up. And as I said, I will play with the timing. We'll see what it'll probably be trading off. And I would just encourage each of you, because obviously we have some people like Kyle, Travis, Mark, and Jobber, it's your first time, but Kyle and Travis, you were both here before, I believe. Kyle, I know, yeah, you were both here before. So just letting the people know that don't make it or haven't decided to make it, like what the value is. I really want, at the risk of, it's not about me. I just want to create a community, and I want to create and I believe we have such a rich potential here to take even just the 30 people in our group right now and create a really strong community where we can support each other in building our businesses and selling. So just drop what was meaningful for you, a takeaway from this session, so others can kind of be inspired to watch it when I post it. And as you're going through your week, I would encourage each of you to share it for yourself too, to give to someone else that might need in the community, but also for accountability, the things that you talked about. Let us know how it's going throughout the week. Give us, please, full permission, give check-ins in the group, talk about what you're working on, ask for support. The group is there. Let's use it, guys. Let's use it. So, and I'm looking forward. I want to get to know each of you more. I know, Mark, we've had a one-on-one, but yeah, I'm looking forward. I want to get to know each of you more. One of my goals this week is to reach out to you other gents, if we haven't connected yet, and find even 5-10 minutes just to chat, so we can get to know each other as guys, human beings. So anything else, guys? Final parting words, anything else? Questions, comments, thoughts?
Just a big thank you. Thanks to everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
really
Thank you,
appreciate
everybody,
this.
guys.
Yeah.
It's been amazing, guys. Have an amazing Saturday. Kyle, I guess you're going to bed soon. Have a great Sunday. We'll see you guys.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.
That's it. Bye.
Bye.